Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining Grit Community. I'm really excited to have Shaquina Hughes, who is a contributing author in Growth. And man, we met several years ago before COVID, stays in touch, and she's now calling in from Texas. So I'm excited that she's going to share her thought leadership and teach you all a little bit more about her business, which is a virtual assistant business. So it could probably help all of you guys on the call. So as you grow your own company. So thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. So I am so excited to be here. Thank you for having me, Jennifer. You're doing such an amazing job with this community. When I first signed up to be an author for the Grit series, I had no idea that it was going to turn into something like this. So I want you to know that I appreciate you, and I'm really excited about what's happening with Grit. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about virtual assisting. And so hopefully I can make this exciting or informative, but also exciting as well. So here we go. So today I am talking about hiring a virtual assistant and how to make your virtual assistant your trusted partner, right? A lot of us aren't aware when we're hiring a virtual assistant that we're actually hiring someone to partner with us in our business. I think in the past or in corporate America, when you think about a virtual assistant, a lot of people think about their subordinate or an employee or something like that. But when really you're hiring someone to assist you and partnering with you in growing your business. So I want you to think about that as we're going through this. So, why do most people hire an assistant? To save time and money, to offload all the things that they don't want to do. Or do they want to have someone help them get things done that will help them achieve their goals and objectives of their business? Anyone want to take a hand at this? No, you, you guys, no. So most people hire a virtual assistant to offload all the things that they want to do, like whatever that may be. That's the goal for them, to offload all of the things that they don't want to do for their business, right? When in fact, what they should be doing is hiring someone that is going to help them achieve the goals and objectives of their business. And I am going to put this in the context of you're wanting to hire a virtual assistant, or you're wanting to hire an assistant, period. And your email inbox is a mess. Like you have 50 million emails, right, in your inbox. And boy, would it be nice to have someone come in and clean that up, right? But one of your goals for your business is to grow your email list by 10,000 subscribers, right? So if that's your goal for your business, hiring someone to come and clean up your email list is not necessarily going to help you achieve. Your email box will be all cleaned up, but your email list will also still be at 100. you know, and so when you're hiring a virtual assistant, you want to keep those types of things in mind. What are the goals for your business to be able to do that? So, of course, a virtual assistant is going to save you time and money. If you don't know how, definitely get with me at some point. I definitely have some kind of blog to show you. And it's also going to help you, hopefully, become more productive and, have more efficiency in your business. But what I've set out to do in my business, and one of my largest goals for my business, is to help my clients get back to living life, right? All of those things are important, help you save time and money, helping you become more efficient and productive. But these are all things that are important to a lot of us. Spending time with your family, doing things that you love, whether it's a hobby or something like that. And then for me, tapping into my femininity. being able to be a woman and, to be able to tap into that. And if I am running around crazy, burning, you know, putting out fires and all that stuff, it is so hard for you to be able to do those things. So that's something else that I want you to keep in mind throughout this presentation. So the first thing is, you want to have your goals and objectives top of mind, but you also want to think about what it means to be able to get back to living life, right? So that was my objective. That was how I got started in my business 8 years ago when I found out I was pregnant with twin girls. Well, 9 years now because they will be 8 years old on Friday. So you see these little chunky butts? They'll be 8 tomorrow. So I found out I was pregnant with twins 9 years ago, and I wanted to be able, I already had 3 other kids, by the way. I wanted to be able to spend more time with my children and kind of step away from my corporate lifestyle. I also had a spa business on the side. I guess you would say it was like a side hustle. And that was why I got started. So I thought that I was setting out, as you can see here, I'm like superwoman. I was going to save all the CEOs from all the drama of running a business. But in fact, what I was doing was creating another job for everyone that I was working with, right? So a lot of people think they're going to hire an assistant and their lives are going to be great. They're going to be hanging out, chilling, sitting at the beach, and now they have this person running everything on the background. But a lot of the time, or what I found when I first got started, is a lot of people were hiring me, but they didn't know what that actually meant to have someone to work with. And so it created a lot of work for them trying to figure out how to utilize this person. And that is why I have coined myself the strategic virtual assistant. Because when I work with my clients, we get down to the meat and potatoes as to why I'm here, right? So who am I? I am Shaquana Hughes, and like I said, I've coined myself the strategic virtual assistant, and I help women in business get back to living. That is my claim to fame. That's my client. I work with a lot of women like myself. If you saw in the previous slides, I have a large family. I have 5 beautiful children. I once worked in corporate America while I was virtual assisting for the first year or two of doing that. And I wanted to get back to living. I wanted to be able to spend time with my children. And so that's something that I have helped my clients do for the last 8 years. So the number one question that I get from people when they find out what I do, when they're thinking about hiring someone is, Shaquana, where do I start? Where do I start when it comes to hiring someone? And my question is, girl, what do you want? That's where we start. That's where we start. A lot of people, like I said, when they first begin to hire a virtual assistant, they think about all the things they don't want to do. They think about all the things that's like keeping them up at night. And that used to be my messaging in my business. What's keeping you up at night? What is, but really it boils down to what do you want, not what you don't want, but what do you want? And think of in terms of hiring someone to help you with your business. Of course, there are going to be things that you don't want to do that a virtual assistant can help you with. But one of the first things that I do in my business and that I suggest to my clients is that they know, right? So the name of the game is knowing, right? What are your goals? What are your objectives? What's your budget? All right. Yes, Debbie. Yes, that's amazing. But, knowing what it is that you're hiring this person for. And when I say knowing, I mean like, what does your life look like? Not just your business, but what does your life look like when you hire this person? not just your goals for your business, but what are your goals for your life? Is it to, be able to read? I'm a romance novel reader. I have a book club that I started a few years ago. There's about 4,000 members in it. And I love to read. So that's one of the goals when I work with someone is like, how can they help me read more? Not how can they help me work more? Because a lot of the time, that's what we do, right? We say, how can I get someone in here to help me be able to take on more stuff? That's not the goal, or that's not my goal for you. And then knowing your budget when you're hiring someone, it is going to cost you, right? But that's why it's important to know your why, because when I'm figuring out my budget to work with someone or hire someone in my business, I'm thinking about the budget in terms of how much money I have, which is very important, by the way. But if I feel like it is going to improve my health, my well-being, help me, be able to be more involved in my book club or read, that those are the kinds of things that you want to know. And that's why I feel like this is more important than saying know what task you want them to do, which is extremely important. It's important, and that's something that you want to know as well. But knowing what it is, what's the end game? Because you don't want to hire someone for the time being. And then, you spent this money the first month, the first 2 months, first 3 months, you didn't really get anything done. You're not really seeing any kind of change in your business. And then you have to let this person go. And it's almost like a waste, which is what I experienced a lot. And when I say I work with hundreds of clients, the first couple of years that I was in business, some of them, for a short period of time, but there was a lot of turnover in that because they did not know the end game. They didn't know what they were really hiring for. They just thought they were hiring someone to come and put out fires, right? So knowing that is extremely important. So, uh-oh. Once you know what it is that you want, your goals, objectives, and your budget, then you can align that with the person that you want to hire. That was another thing that I ran into in the beginning of my business. A lot of people wanted to work with me, but I really didn't align with what it is that they wanted. I didn't align with their budget. And so they were hiring me, they were paying me, but then we weren't really in alignment with what they were wanting. That's another reason why it's important to know, because it'll give you an opportunity to hire the person that you actually want to work with, to hire the person that you actually, need to work with. And so that's important. And you want those things to match up. Even if you love the person, a lot of people love my personality, but once we started working together, it was like, this is kind of not what I needed, and I'm okay with that. And I've recognized that too on the other side of the table. I know when a client is not for me, and I'll say, what, we we may not be aligned, but I usually have a recommendation or someone else that they can work with. But knowing is so important. And I work with so many entrepreneurs, and they really want to just get someone in the door, and they don't take the time to actually flush through and work out what it is they're really needing, who they're really looking for. So knowing those things is extremely important. And again, as business owners, of course, we have our business plans, and we know, our goals and our vision and things like that for our business. But really sitting down and knowing why you're hiring this person as it pertains to your life and your business is important. So, once you get through all of that, once you know, because that's where you start, then what's next? Your award-winning onboarding process. So you have figured out what you're hiring this person for, what you're needing them for, what you need them for as it pertains to your life and your business. You're going to want to onboard them in a manner that's not just, again, here's what I need you to do. Or worst case scenario, throwing all of these things at them at once. All of the things that you don't want to do, here you go, assistant. And one of the ways that I do this when I'm working with clients and also when I'm working with a VA is I record a lot of videos of myself. Okay. And it's not hard for me because I have a process of doing it. But if it is something hard for you, it may be something that you want to spend, a day doing, or, a week or a month, doing, just kind of like getting this onboarding process together. Now, I do recommend to my clients that they start to record their processes when they're working. So like if you're working on a project, something that you feel like you're going to want to load to someone or, tag someone with, you do want to begin to record those processes. But I say take it a step further and let them into what it is they're helping you with. So for me, for instance, I have a video that takes my clients and my VA through a day in the life of Shaquana, right? So from the time I wake up in the morning, I'm usually up at 5 a.m. My son has basketball practice. I and it's like, one of those quick videos that kind of speeds through. So it's not like super long. They're not watching a 24-hour video, but dropping him off in the morning, dropping the rest of my kids off, coming back home. Self-care is extremely important to me. And that's something that I try to do at the beginning of my day. And so, I record, they have videos of that and just kind of me throughout the day and how my day looks as a person, not necessarily as a business owner, but as a person. And with my clients, that handles a few different things. That lets them in and lets them know, okay, Shaquana is probably meditating at this time. So she may not respond, or she may not be available right now. She's dropping off the kids right now. She may not respond really quickly or might not be as available. For a VA, that may say, I need to really be paying attention to her email right now because she's dropping the kids off, because she's practicing self-care, and that kind of thing. And I believe that that is extremely important to incorporate that into your onboarding process so that you all can be able to begin to connect, whether it be with a client. Now, if you're working with a client, my clients are usually, we're partnering together. I'm the assistant. We're going to work closely together. We're in a relationship at this point. So of course, I don't know if you would want to send that to like a corporate client or anything like that, but the type of people that I work with, it works. And it gives them an idea of who I am, how I live my life and the type of person I am. And it kind of, it partners us up because originally, like I said, how to have a trusted partner. This is someone that you're going to partner with. So it builds that relationship between you and the person that you're working with, right? So it handles those types of things for you. So then once you have, you're onboarding them, and when you record the videos, that makes it where you're not having to be available. So that's that productivity and efficiency part of it. You record the video. I put it into a process, a system, automated email process that goes out automatically. So that's not leaving it for me to do every single time, right? Creating that productivity and efficiency. So once you've gotten that together, now I'm going to be honest, most people don't watch the videos, okay? The first time around. Some people do. As an assistant, I do. I watch everything, I look through everything. But like as far as my clients, they're usually busy. They may not watch them. So another part of my onboarding process is to go over them on our onboarding call, right? It's a part of that process. So did you watch the video? What did you think about it? Do you have any questions about it? Again, we're building a rapport. We're building connection. Building that partnership. And so if they haven't watched it, then we may not watch the whole thing, but I may go through some of the things in the video, which helps me, um, be able to talk through it, and that kind of thing. So having an award-winning onboarding process where, again, it's hard as an assistant to work with someone that you feel like is in complete shambles. It's hard to take direction for someone from someone who you feel is like in complete shambles. So this kind of sets you up as that leader. It sets you up as that authority to them, not necessarily their boss, but it sets you up as that authority for them. So if no one has any questions or anything on that, I am going to move.
I'm just going to make a quick plug for you. I hosted an event earlier this week for my subscribers, and Beth Gunter was our speaker, and she was raving about you because she's hired you as her virtual assistant. And she said, you know, you customize each of the pictures in her slide deck, and you went above and beyond. So I just want to give a quick plug. So.
And
Yes, I love that. I love Spry. Who said that?
it's Brandy, and I'm sorry, I can't get my camera to come on for some reason, but I was just wanted to say, first of all, I've heard you speak, I've heard you do stuff. She is absolutely, I'm giving you a kudos because I have worked with you off and on in different capacities for years, and you are amazing. One thing I would just love to add for that, because I think that videos, I just want to back you up because I think videos can be such an important learning tool, and not necessarily that everybody is going to watch every minute of the videos, but even when you have them available and you can pull out either excerpts of them or just say, you know, I know that you may not have grasped every part of this. When you can use them as a tool, just to even on the initial onboarding, use small portions of videos so that part of the day you break them into different components of the initial onboarding day. So maybe you don't sit and play the entire video so someone has to be bored through the whole thing, but you say, okay, you know, as you meet this person and we talk about this element, you just show a little bit of the clip or a little bit of the video on that one little part of it. So it's chunked. It can be so helpful. And I just wanted to back you up with that and tell you that I've seen that be so effective. So
It really
it
is.
doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing where you only use a video in one way. And that is just a great point. So I just thought I'd give you a little backup on that.
And we have so many tools available today, like Zoom, Loom, Doom, everything. Like, AI, like we have so many tools available to us today. And that's another thing which I look a lot younger than I really am, but I know a lot of us, from, back in the day, we're not up to speed, and technology is moving at the speed of light, but we've definitely got to utilize our resources. And this is me kind of getting out of the car, is what I call it. But use our resources and the things that are available to us to make our lives easier, and the people who are working with us, like an assistant, your support people. So definitely utilize the tools that are out there available to you, to be able to do that. So thank you guys so much. That makes me feel amazing. And thank you, Beth. I know you're not here right now, but thank you. So once you've had that award winning, onboarding process, how do you build again that partnership? How do you build that relationship, right? So by having effective communication, we just talked about videos, but not only that, but again, I don't want to sound like I'm like, don't put too much on your virtual assistant, but I can't say how important it is to ease someone into your process, and actually having a process, actually having things in place that lets them know, I thought about this before I brought you into the fold, before I brought you on board. I thought about this. I thought about how we were going to communicate and what my expectations are when I give you a task or something like that, before you came on board. Like, I cannot tell you how good that makes someone feel. And they look to you as a leader. They look to you as a leader and someone who is going to be able, I mean, like you're the business owner. So like I want us to be around for a while. And if you are over here cutting your hair off, then we may be scared and run. So having a clear communication plan, and knowing how your assistant or how your support person likes to communicate is important as well. So for me, I'm a visual person, right? So you can tell that's why I use a lot of video. Um, and so like that's how I communicate. But we have Voxer now, or even Slack. I think you can voice record. So even if you're not, putting a video together, then it may be a voice, because if you type something up for me, I've been in this business for a long time. Even before starting my virtual assistant business, I was an executive assistant for 20 years, dating myself. But, um, you know, having that communication set up in the beginning, again, makes it easier for their relationship, because I've worked with people for 3, 4 years as a virtual assistant. And so a lot of that was the beginning of our relationship. And I'm going to be honest, all of the people that I work with were not together. Most of them are not, but we get there. But a lot of that has to do with our beginning processes. The clients that I've had that I've only worked with a short period of time was contingent on the things that I'm talking about right now. So if they had a horrible onboarding process, if they had no idea really why I was there, those types of things, that was we didn't work together for very long, a month, 2 months. I've had clients I worked with for 1 week. And I mean, like, they pay me for a month or a couple of months. They were just like, it becomes too much for them too, to have to work with someone, because when you're working by yourself, then it's easy for you to say, oh, I'll get to that later or whatever. When you have someone looking to you that you're paying, then they may say, this is too much for me. So having that communication process, and for me, when I first started working with people, we set up a call weekly, for instance. And I mean that's based on their availability. It may be weekly, it may be bi-weekly or monthly, but it's important to have those communication channels. Let's just check in, go through the things that we've been doing. Do you have any questions? And of course, I ask questions throughout, or they may ask questions throughout, but having regular check-ins, because you don't know if they, and a lot of people hire entry, like not first time virtual assistants, but like new people, because it's a little bit less expensive than hire someone like myself that may have been doing this for a while. And they may not know to have those check-ins with you weekly. They may not know to have an ongoing relationship with you, or to be able to do that. So it's something that you want to have in mind once you get started. So, and again, onboarding and training. And me being who I am, a lot of the time, this is where I step in and shine and, can really help, is to develop this. But if this is something that, once you're working with someone, that you can develop for them, even if, and what I suggest, even if you don't have it together before you start working with them, as you're going through the process, recording certain things like this training, I am going to use this as some kind of training material down the line. So recording something as you're going through it, I suggest to my clients, if you don't already have a video on this program that you're training me on, or, whatever, because let's record this and you can use this for future reference for someone else, or, something like that. So, you know, again, showing up as that leader, the person who is the visionary for the company, and being able to provide that for that. And that's if you're hiring a virtual assistant, or if you're working in corporate America and you're hiring an assistant to work with you. That's why I would say, corporate can be a little bit sticky, but a lot of the time they do have those types of things together. So again, you're partnering with this person. And like I said in the beginning, a lot of people look at their assistant as in a separate, like a separation, like this is someone I'm hiring to do tasks for me, when really you want to partner with that person and develop a relationship that lends to, we are in this together, right? You're not just my subordinate. You're not just someone that I'm giving tasks to every day. We are, helping to grow this business together, or to grow my company, however big or small that is. So nurturing that relationship with your VA, again, this is someone that you can have in your life. The goal is to grow together. A lot of people who've hired me as a VA, I've gone on to do different things within their company. So it's a relationship that can grow and that can grow into something else. And so you want to facilitate that. And one of the ways that I encourage people do is by giving feedback, right? So when you're having those regular check-ins and those regular updates, is, with positive, encouraging, hey, you're doing a good job, like Beth did. I didn't even know that she had done that, but it's just like, that is something that will make that person want to go above and beyond for you. That is someone that's going to go in there and go that extra mile with you. If I need to stay a little bit later or come in a little bit earlier, or maybe work on a Saturday or something like that, having that communication and fostering that partnership will make someone want to do that for you. Everyone is not just coming in at 8 and leaving at 5 every single day, all of the time, right? And when you're working virtually, it's a hard thing to do. That's why I recommend that you have those regular check-ins with them regularly, so that you guys are having that water cooler talk. And of course, if you all have a Slack channel, most of the companies that I've worked with have a Slack channel, and they have like really cool things within that Slack channel, like a music channel. Everyone shares their favorite music, or water cooler talk, where everyone can come and kind of like share different things that they have going on in their lives and in their businesses in that relationship. So just to kind of back it up a little bit. So the most important thing is knowing in the beginning, knowing what it is that you want, knowing why you're hiring this person, and all those things that we discussed. And then once you have the person that you're working with, making sure you're bringing them on as a partner by having those videos and things like that, making sure that you're having constant regular check-ins with them, not constant, but don't do that. And make not constant communication. Encouraging them, and making sure that they have that, and then nurturing their relationship, encouraging them, giving them that feedback, whether good or bad, and all of those things. So you know what it is that you're doing. You hired this person. You guys are partners. You're good. And so what do you do now, right? You want to start to take care of yourself, because this is your reward for, onboarding this team member, getting them in there, and creating the life. For me, I feel like you create the life that you deserve, right? You have done that. And so now you want to prioritize yourself. It may not have been something that you could do in the past, but it's something that you can do now. And so work-life balance is getting a bad rap today, but I still believe in it. Okay. And what balance means to me is that, so a year ago, I was solely focused, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was solely focused on my family. Like my kids were all in different places, and I was doing little work, and I was focused on my family. Now I have college age kids. People are gone. The twins are self-sufficient. They can put noodles in the microwave. Like, I am living the life over here. Okay. So now I'm back into business a little bit more. I'm taking on more clients, and that is balance to me. So when people think about balance, they may think about, everything has to be even, but it just depends on where you are in your life. So I still believe in balance, and that is what it means to me. So again, this is where that knowing comes in, knowing what it is that you want for your life. Right now, I am growing my career. That is what I want for my life right now. So knowing that gives me an opportunity to say that, not that my family has to take a back burner, but I sit and I talk to my children and it's like, okay, this is what I'm doing now. How can I still be there for you while still being able to grow my business? Right. And so again, that allows me to be able to set boundaries with them. Like my daughter, babe, you can't do your hair for 2 hours every morning because I can't take you to school at this time, right? And so you want to do that within your family, but also, like I mentioned before, those videos, sending them, letting them know what my life looks like. Again, that lets them know I'm establishing those boundaries and letting them know, what I have going on throughout the day. So that goes into that. And then prioritizing
I
self-care.
think
Go
I
ahead.
think that that is so important of an example for them for when they're older. That's like something that, like for my age and how I raised my kids, I really wish I would have set a better example for them. I just feel like I didn't do enough of that. And I really wish I would have done a better job making myself more important, taking care of myself.
Mhm.
Like that's great.
Like I said, we had to get here, Chris,
Yeah.
because it wasn't as talked about. I've
Right.
always been the type of person that kind of beats to my own drum. So I've made up stuff in my mind before. I'm a little bit before my time, if I could toot my own horn. But growing up, like with my mother, self-care, what? Like, what is that? What, now it's a
Right.
lot more talked about.
Well, and
And,
Yeah.
I totally agree with both of you because I think
mhm,
it was seen as selfish if
Right.
you
And I grew up like
well,
kind of kind of like in some church type groups that it was kind of
mhm,
like selfish and you were supposed to be a servant and I
mhm,
don't know, just
mhm,
kind of,
mhm.
I don't know. And I only have boys and I don't know. I just really wish that it was better. I did a different kind of job with that. I mean, it's fine, but
Yeah, I'm
I really
sure.
like what I'm hearing you say.
Oh, yes. Yay. I'm
Like
glad.
Jennifer, I think for you, it's just so
Mhm.
important for you to be like that just for how they treat their wives someday, you
I
know?
Mhm.
was thinking this. I was like, I need to do more of this because I have not been doing any of this.
Well,
So,
right. And I
yeah.
mean, they're young and you want to do all the stuff for them, but it's like really important even when you're at home by yourself to be like, Mom is doing this now, and you guys need to take care of yourselves in little ways, that they can. And that also gives them a lot of self-esteem to take care of themselves.
I think you just
Right.
brought up an amazing point because so many of us talk about this and being a good example for our daughters. But if we're going to raise men who treat their wives that way, we have to show them by example too. So that was an
Right.
excellent point.
Yes. Yes. Now, the way that I'm able to do this and still have 5 kids and have a household and work with clients and all that stuff is I develop a routine,
Okay.
right? I don't deviate from it a lot. Every day is not 100%, but I spend some time with myself every single morning. Well, even if it's for 5 minutes, you know. And so I have a routine. And once you develop that routine, you usually don't get off track with it. It's like, you do it. Like I walk every morning. If I don't walk, I feel out of sorts, right? So it's like second nature to me now. So developing those routines, it helps you to be efficient, I guess you would say, because that's just how I am as a person. But, every day doesn't look exactly the same. Sometimes I can spend an hour with myself. Sometimes it's only 5 minutes, but I'm still doing those things every single day, every single day. And again, setting those boundaries, letting the kids know, letting your clients know, if you can, like, I won't be available. They don't have to know exactly what you're doing during this time because this is what I'm going to be doing and adjusting accordingly. But having a routine and doing the same things every day, I usually eat the same stuff all the time, and everything like that. It just makes it easier for me to be able to practice those types of things, right? And so when you're not feeling good, when you are, getting to that place like this is becoming a bit much for me, recognizing that and then reevaluating. Because, like I said, like my life is different now, you know, it's not the same. I don't have little bitty babies anymore. So I can reevaluate my life and move things around the way that I need to, if I need to, but you have to be in the know, which is what we talked about in the beginning, and recognize when things are getting off track and you need to get back on. Because like during the holidays, I was not routining like I should have, but get back on there, right? And so the reason that I've developed those routines and the reason that I've been able to stick with them is because, for one, I know that it's important to my health. I am getting older. I cannot live foot loose and funky free like I used to. I got to reel it in, so that my body doesn't fail me. So that is, I have a priority, prioritizing, and I'm at the head of the prioritizing. So if I'm good up here, then we can do everything else that we need to do. So I recommend that as well. So if no one has anything else to say about that. So I developed this guide. You're like, Shaquana, how do I do all of these things? Where do I start? How do I do all of this? I developed this guide for people to kind of get things out of their heads into something. So if you all are interested in that, I'm going to share my email address with you. And so just shoot me an email and say, hey, Shaquana, send me the passport. It's called the Passport to Freedom, because I feel like everyone needs this passport. And remember, I told you guys I'm a romance girly. I wrote a whole romance story well, no, it's not a romance story. It's called Getting Out of CEO Hell. But it's like that. It's along those lines. And that's at the beginning of here. So I love to share that with you guys. So here's my email address, shaquana.hughes@thesalvagroup.com. That's the name of my company. And yeah, that's the best way to reach me. Shoot me an email. Let me know what you guys thought about this, how you feel about it and everything. And then you connect with me on LinkedIn. My name's Shaquana Hughes there. And that is it. So do you guys have anything for me?
I have some
Thank you.
questions.
Mhm.
Um, for you, Shaquana, and maybe like Debbie or other people who have used a VA before, I'm not quite sure what a VA could help me with. A lot of the challenges I have are physical and staying like organized in my environment. And so it's the virtual part. Like if somebody could come in and help me organize my office, like physically, but if you're virtual, that's not, that's you're not maybe here even in my town. So I'm trying to think of, like Debbie said, the first year she hired a VA, she increased her sales 25%. What are some examples um, of what a VA could do? I don't even know how to imagine this because I've been, um, for example, as a manager in my last role, I didn't have an assistant, so I had to do everything.
Mhm.
Um, and
Oh.
and so it's really hard for me to imagine like how I could effectively use someone. What are the kind of tasks that they could help me with? I am not opposed to delegating. We talked about this at our leadership panel about helping to grow and develop my team. So I delegated a lot, but it's this virtual aspect of like, how would that work? Like, what could people help me with?
So in the guide, I'm going to share the guide with you guys. I have a section in here and it talks about, balancing work and family schedule. So what I talk about is it's not just about administrative support, right? We're talking about support all around. So in this example, I talk about dreaming. I dream a lot. So like, what's your ideal? What would you want to happen if money were no object or anything like that? And so I talk about, ideally, you would want a housekeeper, right? It will cost you $25,000 per year. Right. But if you can't afford to hire a housekeeper who does the laundry for you, you can drop your clothes off at a laundry service and that will cost you $2,000 a year or however much a month. So for you, for instance, you may want to hire an organizer, someone to come in and help you organize. My mom has done that before. I'm not that grown up yet, but you can hire an organizer to come in and help you organize your space. You can hire them to come in one time, or you can hire them to come in on a regular basis, like a housekeeper or something like that. And so it doesn't have to be administrative support that you get help with. You can get help with all kinds of support wherever you need someone to help you in your life. But you can take the same things that I talked about in this presentation, knowing what you're going to want them to help you organize with, having like some direction for them, which most of the time, if someone is an expert in that, they can kind of guide you. But knowing what you want them to help you with and having some kind of direction for them, but then finding someone, I'm sure there's someone for everything.
So I'm part of NAPO, which is the National Association of Professional Organizers, and I can send you their website, and they have a lot of different people on there, and some of them are like just like house organizers, but there are people that have the kind of services you are talking about, where they would come in and work a half a day a week, or come in and do a one-time thing. I mean, they have all kinds of different companies, services.
Thanks.
Yeah, and if you are talking about organization for online things, I mean, different people, if you're saying that you're online in your business and getting your business organized in an online fashion, I mean, there are lots of people who can come in and help you get the organizational structure of your business and the way it's set up on a computer, or the way it's set up to work, can help you do that as well. So in other words, for instance, and I'm not throwing my hat in the ring, I'm just saying as an example, a lot of companies, when I work with them on a marketing side of things or in their business development, they have 3 or 4 different systems working, and they don't know how to bring all that together in a way that they just spend all this time going back and forth between systems, and the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, and they're all overwhelmed because it's going to take way too much time, or it's going to, you have to invest in this huge, big system that it would cost too much to do, and they just don't know what to do with that. Well, if you can find the right person to help you, there are some very easy ways to, just like a home organizer, there's some very easy ways to organize your business sections or strategies or departments, to bring them together without having to spend a ridiculous amount of money. But you just need one person to come in who looks, sometimes it's even better to have somebody from the outside looking in, to help you streamline and organize your business in such a way that everybody can have access to what you need without also having to reinvent the wheel and without having to start from scratch. And so sometimes you need help with that. And that if that's what you were meaning from an online standpoint, it can be done. And there's so much technology as you mentioned out there. Some of us who've been at this for a long time aren't even as technologically savvy as some of the newer people, but we all are so well connected with one another. If we don't know how to do it ourselves, we're all getting really good at finding the right people and connecting with someone who can. If we don't know how to do it, we usually can find the right person who does. So, and I think, I thank God for Jennifer every day, because I think that has been the greatest gift of knowing her and our Grit group and everything else that we've all done, is the connectivity that we bring. Because like you said, it only takes one of these little, and I was apologizing because I've been out of the loop for a while and had to switch gears to a different type of business that we have. But I'm so glad to be back and connected with it, because just the energy from hearing and seeing everybody and being part of this group is so great for me personally. But also just knowing that everybody's just a phone call away. And if I needed anything, this group, you just go, hey, does anyone know this? Does anyone know this? Or can I connect? We are all such an important network for one another. If you're struggling with anything, this is the group to come to. Just say, hey, this is my issue I'm having. Who knows how to help me find this right person to help me fix this problem? So I'm giving you my bow down again to Jennifer in this group. But yeah, I mean, we're just such an amazing, dynamic group of women who know so many amazing, great, dynamic people, women and men included, that if that's what you're looking for, just reach back to the group and say, hey, how can I help you, or can you help me? And there's somebody in this group somehow that can connect you with what you need.
Yeah, I,
So,
I think being able to think about it differently, like Shaquana, your presentation gave me some different ways to kind of think about, you know, um, setting a schedule, for example, or a routine, what would be in that prioritizing where I'm not reacting to deadlines or things that other people need, which I've been having to do for a while. So it's thinking about it differently. And that gives me then the opportunity to reach out to others to ask for, help or to connect with somebody who has that business.
So, some words of wisdom. You cannot grow your business by yourself. Totally impossible. Totally impossible. I loved your presentation today, Shaquana. Did I say your name right? Tell me if I said your name right. Okay. Okay. So that's one of the things I've been working on is correct pronunciation. I'm horrible. But the first thing I had to do was I made a list of all the non-revenue producing activities I was doing. Every single one. That's how I increased my business by 25% because I wanted to concentrate my time on revenue producing activities. And not all of those non-revenue producing activities went to my assistant. There's this great thing called getting rid of crud that's not working. And I had to decide some of the stuff I was doing was not productive, right? And it wasn't going to be productive for anybody. I do that list every 6 months. If you are in a growing business, you have to be religious about doing that list because your processes change, how you do business changes, and the people you have working with you won't change anything until you're the one leading them, taking a look and saying, oh, well, we can actually get rid of this, right? Because we don't need to do this anymore. And here's a really novel idea. Ask your virtual assistant what they see that they can get rid of or what they think they can take off your plate. And I'm an accountant and I'm risk adverse, and my whole business is about taking risks and walking people through change. So I needed to hire a virtual assistant for a year before I did it. And I could kick myself in the you know what, because 25% more revenue that first year I hired them.
Cool.
And I wasn't working from 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. at night to do it. I got my time back. So I just loved your presentation today. I just wanted to put that 2 cents in because, I always tell people you got to walk into your fear. That's the only way you are going to make things happen. You've got to walk into your fear. So I do that a lot because, I'm a chicken.
I read something about courage. This is the start of the season for nonviolence. And it said courage isn't the absence of fear, it's making something else more important.
That's correct. Right.
And I just love that because the fear is not going to go away. But what else is more important? Shaquana and you both said, Debbie, having your time back, your
Yeah.
family, so that we turn this idea of serving others, and that it's selfish to take care of ourselves and throw that out the window. This is where my coaching is coming in, really understanding what those priorities are. And the routine can almost become a ritual. It's sacred in the way that we take care of ourselves. So while it may change in terms of time and schedule, it, and maybe even a little bit in form, it doesn't go out the window because of somebody else's priorities, because it's for us to make our life sacred and special and honor the value of it. So
Yeah.
thank you
And
for giving
the
me
hard
some
lesson,
ideas about how I could look at this differently.
the hard lesson I had to learn is a client's emergency is not necessarily my emergency.
Exactly. Yeah.
So That doesn't mean I
Thank
don't
you,
take care of my
Jennifer.
clients.
Yeah, you got everybody thinking. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I
Yeah, it
really
was an amazing
appreciate it. And
presentation.
stay in touch, connect with me
Absolutely.
on LinkedIn and all that good stuff. I'd love to hear from you guys. Yeah. And
Thank
if
you
you
so
have any
much for your
questions
time.
after this, reach out. I have no problem answering it.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. Bye, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week.
You too.
Thank you.